Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. As promised, I was going to make my next 3 videos based on your suggestions, and the first video that I'll make here actually was one that a cryptid that I was interested in talking about from a while back. It was one thing that I set some notes on and then just set it aside, and I kind of forgot about it, but seeing this suggestion once again made me realize, of course, I'll definitely talk about this one. And this cryptid has to do with the Enfield Horror, which is a very, very bizarre cryptid. This is one of those deals where you got to see it to believe it, with regards to the creepiness factor that this cryptid has. So much again, thanks for the suggestion on that, and please keep them coming because I'll definitely do some more again with the cryptid videos over these coming days. So the Enfield Horror, you gotta go backwards about 40 years. We're talking 1973 in April, in order to hear essentially about this cryptid. And this happened apparently in Illinois. And what happened is, all throughout one night, you have this entity that essentially attacked several people throughout the location there, and created such distress that it instantly came, I guess you could call it, instantly became viral, and it took on a life of its own. And the Enfield Horror, you'll see a picture of it right here. This is the creature that is so bizarre looking and so weird, so creepy, that it is truly befits its name. It's a horror of some sort. And this all started again in 1973. Apparently the very first person that came across this cryptid is a boy by the name of Greg Garrett. And this was an encounter that Greg will never forget. He said that he was playing in his backyard, and this cryptid, this Enfield Horror, walked up to him, stumbled up to him, however the creature walks, and the boy described it as having 3 legs, a grayish complex, an epidermis/skin that looked bizarre, short claws on the end of its legs and on the end of its feet. The end of its feet and the end of its hands, and then the most prominent feature are some blood reddish type eyes. And the way this creature acted was so unsettling. The creature apparently again walked up to the boy and then stamped the boy's feet with its own 3 legs. And at the end of those legs, those were those sharp claws. So sharp they were that the boy's tennis shoes were instantly shredded. Now you can imagine how any boy would react to something like this. Imagine seeing this coming towards you and then almost jumping on your feet, this diminutive, ugly looking thing, and when it did so, it instantly shredded your feet. It doesn't say whether the boy was harmed or not, but he certainly went back to his parents' house crying. And no doubt the parents there were wondering just what happened. Well, this wasn't over, because the boy's neighbors apparently had some kids of their own. One was by the boy by the name of Henry, and the other one by the girl by the name of Lil. And what happened was, the creature apparently went to them. They got so freaked out that they immediately ran inside and told their father. And their father came out, not believing, of course, that something like this was out there, to see this looking at him. The father, by that point, was so scared, as no doubt you and I would be, to see something like this coming out, that the father went about and got his .22 pistol and began shooting at it. Now this is how the father describes the creature. This is his exact quote. So this is something that's actually been printed, and this is out there in the real world. He said it had 3 legs on it, a short body, 2 little short arms coming out of its breast area, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights. It stood 4.5 feet tall and was grayish colored, and it was trying to get into the house. I love that last quote, trying to get into the house. Oh, that would freak the hell out of me to see something like this, clawing at the door, clawing at the windows, just trying to get in. So the father kept shooting at it with his .22 pistol. He knows he hits it. He said he hit it almost immediately, and hit it several times in fact, but instead of the creature dying as any normal creature would, or at least limping away wounded. Apparently this creature hissed at him like a wildcat, is how his quote was. And he was hit 4 more times, and by that point the creature had had enough. It actually leaped or ran, or however the creature moved. Imagine with let's say 3 legs, the tripods, the creatures from the War of the Worlds movie. Imagine something like that. The way they walked is probably how this creature walked as well. So imagine something like that galloping across the field or across the area that the father's house was. And he said that it crossed 50 feet in a matter of only 3 seconds. Surely a world record at that point. And it disappeared behind a railroad embankment, which you'll see a picture of here. So again, this is real stuff. This is the stuff that was chronicled from this bizarre attack. And the father was so freaked out that he was willing to start talking to reporters and get this word out there. And what it was interesting about this is that he actually called some sheriff's deputies to come on over and take a look, and they found evidence. They actually found evidence corroborating to what the father saw. They found footprints with regards to the creature there in and around the ground, and the footprints had 6 paws of some sort on them. And the way the footprints were set, they could distinguish that this was a 3-legged creature. Probably when it was standing on its own, it left 3 imprints, or when it ran like something like 3 legs would have. They also found scratch marks in and around the house as well. So that's now you have several kids seeing this, and now you have a father seeing this, and then now you have what should be considered reputable people, sheriff's deputies, seeing this as well. And he was threatening to talk about this and get the word out, and it was to the point where eventually the county sheriff, after this night, threatened him and said that he's got to stop inciting panic, otherwise people are going to be freaked out, and there's going to be a slew of people coming in. And sure enough, it looks like amateur monsters hunters began coming in and around the area. And to the best of my knowledge, they didn't find anything. The only person that apparently saw something was a news director of some sort for the radio station there, or actually at a place called Kokomo, India. He said, and he claimed that 3 other individuals along with him saw a gray, stooping, 5-foot-tall creature lurking outside an abandoned house not far from the father's house as well. So after that, that's about it. That's all that anyone has ever seen with regards to this horrible looking creature. That's the only time in existence that anyone has ever seen him. And there have been, though, claims of some sort, and you have to go back even further, that there has been more sightings, and you have to go to 1941, 1942. Apparently there was a village in Mount Vernon, which is less than 40 miles away there from the Illinois area that occurred there, the Enfield area. And apparently there was a sight, several encounters with a quote-unquote leaping beast that the populace there were completely frightened about. And a lot of people think that due to proximity associated with this, that 30 years earlier than the Enfield Horror, that this was the very same monster. And it seems to make people believe that this is a creature that seems to go about a 30-year cycle. If that were the case, though, then we would have seen something probably in about 2003 or 2002. But nothing came about, of course, since then. So it's interesting to see if after another 30 years we'll have something like this again. Now, what is the creature's origin? That is, again, much speculation on there. Some people think that it's an alien, as the area in and around that Illinois Enfield area has apparently been plagued by UFOs, and they especially had a large number of UFO sightings during that time of that one night of the creature attacking. And other people believe that it's more occult related, something supernatural associated with it. It's up to you. What do you believe? Could this be even, say, just something from Earth, some unnatural creation from Earth, from nature, that was just a one thing deal, and then some mutation, something along those lines that nothing has ever been seen before, nothing has ever been seen since. It's up to you to decide on there. But yeah, with regards to this creature, it truly is bizarre. Enfield Horror definitely deserves the name that it has, and it's something that hasn't been seen yet, and it definitely takes a lot of imagination to come up with something like this. And by far the most incredible thing that I know of this story is the fact that this is documented by several witnesses and reported on by others. And again, the fact that there's evidence associated with this creature. I wish that somebody would have taken pictures of those footprints and the claw marks and everything, by the way, but no doubt with the hysteria that occurred during that night, taking pictures was the last thing that everyone could think of. So anyways, that's it. That's the Enfield Horror. What do you guys think? Is this something that you've heard of with regards to happening in other areas? Post your comments, share your stories below. If you've come across something like this, share it below as well. And as always, thank you so much. Take care, everybody.